Although this is true, I believe this was also stated that if Shinobu had the strength to behead a demon, that she might have been able to behead Doma thanks to her speed. But there's two things I want to bring up that might throw a big wrench into this idea. First one is relating to the other two of the upper three demons. Now, what I'm about to say is a pretty big spoiler warning, so for anyone who doesn't want to be spoiled, feel free to scroll now. This is your chance to go away. But for those that are still here, in the case of Akaza and Kokushibo, they have both shown the ability to regenerate their heads, at least one time apiece. So who's to say Doma might not be able to do the same thing? If Akaza can do it, then in theory, a stronger demon, as in Doma, should be able to at least regenerate his head once. And seeing as none of the three characters that would be fighting Doma have ever experienced a demon regenerating their own heads before, would not only catch them off guard, but might make the fight exponentially harder for them. Because Doma would then realize these people shouldn't be messed around with. He would get serious. He would just go full extent with his Blood Demon art, which is arguably the most broken one in the series. He could make multiple ice clones that he could make almost identical in strength to himself. He can fill the air with ice crystals that would freeze and shred your lungs, which is detrimental to demon slayers as a whole, because if they can't do their breathing styles, they can't properly fight. Also, another thing, if he is serious and he were to happen to kill Shinobu, he might not eat her, which would be devastating to the overall fight, because the reason Doma was able to be poisoned in the first place was because he wasn't taking them seriously enough. So he thought, hey, they're not going to be able to take me down. He's so confident that he just stopped and had a meal mid-fight. And that was his downfall, because Shinobu had basically been microdosing herself with poison so that she could effectively be able to take out Doma or any demon that she was fighting if they happened to kill her and eat her. So, if she had her Slayer mark, she would possibly, if it gave her enough strength to behead Doma with her initial speed, with Doma not taking seriously, he would possibly be able to regenerate his head like Upper 3 and Upper 1 were able to do. Then realize he has to take the fight way seriously, do so, use the full extent of his Blood Demon art, overwhelm them, and possibly outright win without even getting to the poison, because he would take them all out, focusing on them, realizing their actual threats. Now sure, once the fight's over, maybe he would then eat and get poisoned before he can interfere with any other fights. But in the instance where he doesn't even eat them after the fight, if he happens to win, that means we'd have a full-strength Doma dealing with the stragglers from the other two fights. That's assuming he doesn't just jump in and third-party the fight to take out the Demon Slayers anyway for either of the other two Upper Moons fighting. So, I'm going to stand by this. If Shinobu were to get her Slayer mark, it legitimately would end with the fight going worse for the main cast, because it would make Doma be more serious, realizing he has a stronger opponent on his hands, and likely resort in them either outright just losing to Doma, or a draw where he kills them all, and then he gets taken out by poison after the fight.